So here in this video we are trying to understand the basics of this process models for software development. We will also try to understand this topic as software development life cycle models. So these process models, basically here we see the framework activities and the other umbrella activities in the total process framework. Means in the total development cycle of this particular software, we have to understand this thing, that what are the activities and what is the flow of this activity. Actually, what should be the flow of activity, these are particular things which have been prescribed. So here we will see through this definitely in this video some of the prescribed methods, and later videos also we may see. But one thing we have to keep in mind, that the prescribed methods are not only the methods to develop the software, but the activities that we are going through, the activities that are taking place, we will have to understand that these activities are important in the software development. So if we understand these things, that what are the activities, what are the flow, and what are the prescribed methods, because prescribed methods are those which have been given, which have been given to us after a lot of research, after a lot of experience, I should say, after so many software developments. So now I believe we can start something about the process models. Let us start with software development, this process framework. So in this software process framework, we have to understand that in the total software development, there are certain framework activities and the umbrella activities, right? These umbrella activities are those These umbrella activities actually are such activities which are there throughout the life cycle of this development. Okay, we have already seen in the last video there the umbrella activities were certain, like suppose risk management and other kind of activities, certain kind of testings also, and other related things, right? So they were considered as umbrella activities, whether it be risk management or software quality assurance or other kind of reusability management or certain kind of tracking and control procedures. Those all activities were considered as umbrella activities, so which will run throughout the software development. Now there are certain framework activity. Here we are saying that the framework activity 1, after that framework activity 2, and then framework activity n. Okay, basically here according to the book Pressman, we get these 5 framework activities. We have already seen that there is communication, where we have to interact with the stakeholders and get the requirements, and then there is planning, where we perform certain kind of planning and how this particular software will work, means we will develop this, how we will develop this software, what will be the I should say work schedule, what are the products and I should say when it should be produced. These all the things how it will be produced. These all the things are planning which are done after communication. What are the feasibility, those all the things are done. And then it is modeling. Modeling we already know. Okay, let me tell you, no problem. So in modeling what happens? We create certain kind of designs for the software to be constructed. Okay, designs related to all the things according to the requirement. Okay, so these design actually help us in understanding the software in a better way. Not only for construction, definitely it helps in construction phase. Also it helps after construction in maintenance. Okay. Now in construction phase, what is happening? We are trying to write the code, and after that also test it for the validation purpose that yes, we have constructed it according to the requirement, and after that we deploy. So these all the activities are being considered as framework activities. So now we have to understand here that these framework activities will have certain actions, and these actions will have set of tasks. So one framework activities may have multiple actions. Suppose it was the communication phase. So in communication activity, there might be certain actions, right? Like suppose if you are making just a small, I should say, small software. In that case, what will happen? You will have just a small discussion with the stakeholder, with the I should say the client, and you will understand what is the problem, and that is the thing. So in communication phase, communication activity, the actions will be just a conversation, a small conversation. Maybe even a phone conversation will work, right? You can gather the requirement on phone, he said, and you understood. But for a large software, a phone conversation will not be enough, right? So you should follow the procedures, all the actions as definitely prescribed in this book, but also whatever comes in your mind, but at least those prescribed in the book. Like for communication, we will see later, there are certain things like inception, elicitation, elaboration, negotiation, specification, and then also validation of these written documents. And then we create a SRS, we call it software requirement specification. So those are I should say the actions. Suppose one of the action is elicitation, where you try to find out the requirements which are not coming itself. They are not able to tell you what are the requirements. So you try to find out the requirements. For that you may try to ask questions or whatever. So those will be considered as your tasks. So you should be able to, if you are a software engineer, you should be able to break this action into certain tasks. These tasks, you can see, they can have work tasks, what are the tasks to be done, work products, what you will actually get after that, and quality assurance points, that what are the things you must consider to assure that the quality is nice, and it is project milestones, that what are the things, milestone are certain things that till this point if covered, a part is over, we need not do it again, right? So such things, it is not, we are not saying that all these 4 tasks will be there in the task set. No, Some of them might be, or all of them may also be, but some of them must be in the task set. So basically you should be able to factor this action into tasks. So here we have understood that one framework activity may have multiple actions, and each action may have multiple tasks or set of tasks. So similarly multiple activities may be there. The framework activities here, according to the Pressman book, we are taking it as 5 activities: communication, planning, modeling, construction and deployment. Now what should be the flow? Should it be like this only? After communication, planning will be there, and then modeling, then construction, deployment, and done. Is it like that? No, it is not always like that. There are certain kind of process flows that we have seen in the industry. So one is linear process flow. In this linear process flow, what happens? Everything is sequential. It is starting with communication, then planning, then modeling, construction and deployment. No problem, right? However, if we think about iterative process flow, in this case we can see there are certain iterations. Suppose any single phase is being iterated, that we have communicated and made a plan, and after that we have made certain design. We found that there is certain fault in this design, and we restarted the design of this model, and we finalized only after the redesign. Maybe after construction of the software, then we found that there is a fault in design phase. We can come back to the design phase. Here we realize that there is a fault in communication phase. We went back to the communication. This is kind of iteration that is possible in software development. We can call it an iterative process flow. Not only this, there can be evolutionary process flow. In evolutionary process flow, what will happen? We have started with communication, with planning, modeling, construction and then deployment. But here, again we have started the communication, because we have in mind that this was not the whole software, this was just a release, I should say increment release, and after that again means it was having certain features and functions, but now we have to add some more features and functions. For that we have started communication, planning, modeling and construction, and then this earlier existing software will include the new increments, means it will have some more features and functions, and this will continue until the whole software is developed. So since we can see here, by each increment the software is evolving, so such models are being called as evolutionary process models. Okay. Apart from this, here the next thing is parallel process flow. In this case of parallel process flow, we have to understand that till now, where it was sequences, so what was happening at a moment, one activity was taking place, and once the first activity is completed, the next activity starts. Here what we are talking about is that at the same time two activities may be taking place. Here, as if we are thinking about communication and planning, both are taking place at the same time. So the two activities, if they are being executed in parallel, or if we take it like this, that after communication planning will be done, but along with the communication we have started modeling. Okay, after some of the communication we did, and after that the communication phase was not over and we started modeling. Okay, and then this planning, and here the planning was not yet complete and we started another construction, another activity. So if such kind of overlapping is there, if such kind of parallel execution of such activities are there, in that case we can call it as parallel process flow. So in industry we have seen such kind of process flows which helps us in development of the software according to the need of the software. Okay, some of the softwares have such needs that it should be evolutionary. Certain softwares may have maybe very small. In that case, we can use just linear process model. So such kind of things are there. Now, let me tell you about process patterns. Basically, what happens in software development, we may encounter certain problems related to the activities that are being done, means the activities in the software development, maybe with certain task or certain phase, sequence of activity. So with these there can be certain problems. So now if there is a problem, there is a way to handle such problems. So we usually write such things according to the need of the industry, that what are the problems which may come for this particular stage or particular task or particular phase. Okay, these problems may occur, so we will name these problems that this is the problem, and what are the ways we have handled in past, or what are the ways this problem can be handled. So such things are there, kept written as a document. So such thing will be called as process patterns. So patterns is what is actually happening. Sometimes these particular things happen. So if such things happen, so what we do in certain situations. So these are particular things about process pattern. Now let us understand what are prescriptive process models. In prescriptive process models, what is happening in software development, if we were not having a particular way of development, we just what we did, we gather the requirement that what is to be done, and we keep on communicating with the client or the stakeholders and developing the softwares. Because of that, there was a chaos in software development, that the softwares were not reaching their final phase. So in that case, means definitely with experience, the software engineers understood that there should be a way of software development. So these are traditional models that have been given to us by these experienced software engineers, that these are certain way of developing a software. So these are the set of process elements which are already prescribed, that in this kind of model what should be the framework activities and what should be the actions, tasks, and how quality will be assured. These all the things are prescribed. So in a way you can understand that this also prescribes a process flow. Definitely different kind of process flows we have seen in the earlier slide. So different process models will be there, we will see now. So these process models also prescribe certain kind of process flow, that what are the activities and how these activities will take place. Will it be in sequence, will it be iterative or evolutionary, and such kind of things. So such things are prescriptive process model. The question is it the case that always we use any one of the prescriptive process model for software development? It may not be true. The answer is it may not be true, but one thing that we understand, After understanding these prescriptive process models, we get to know that what are the framework activities and which of these process models are applied in which kind of softwares. So getting an interaction with your stakeholders, you get to know what kind of software you are going to make, and you will also understand what is the time period in which you will have to deliver such software. Accordingly, you will decide which kind of process models can be used, or you may devise a kind of process model which can be combination of any of these for achieving your own goal. Okay, so this is something about prescriptive process model. Let us start with one of the process model, which is waterfall model. Okay, waterfall model is also called a classic life cycle model, where these all the phases are kept in a systematic and sequential approach. You can see this is being called as waterfall model because suppose the water is coming from this side, so this water will keep on falling. Okay, there is no way the water can go upwards. There is no way. Okay, the water will just fall. So after communication phase, planning will start, and once the planning has started, we are not going back to communication phase. Once the planning completes, we start modeling, and while modeling, we are not going for anything like estimating or scheduling or these kind of things. It's okay. All has been done. After modeling, we are going for construction, and while construction, we understand that this design and analysis what has been done is totally correct and complete. After in construction phase, we code it and then we test it, and once we have tested it, we validate that the constructed code is according to the requirement, what was the requirement gathered in the communication phase. This is the software, and then it is delivered. Okay, so this is a simple life cycle model for I should say software development. So in software development, this is the oldest model available for software development. Therefore, it is also being called as classic life cycle model, that this is the something that is going to be done. However, nowadays when you will understand, when you will go through all the process models, then you will understand that this model is very much okay or good for small softwares, where the communication in the communication phase, requirements can be frozen, that these are the requirements, yes, done, the requirements are not going to change. However, if you have any kind of confusion that the requirements may change, then we will not go for we may include certain kind of iteration or those kind of things also. A variant of waterfall model is V model. In this V model, what happens? These are the same phases of your waterfall model. We understand that communication will be there, we will gather the requirement, and after that we will plan and design, and after that design the components, and then we will code it, and after coding we will perform the testing. We understand now these testing is being represented in a up arrow, which is showing that how the testing will relate to these phases of the development. That code will be generated, and after that the first of all unit testing will be done. Unit testing will be done for the codes generated. After that the integration testing will be done, where we will try to integrate the different modules, different components of the system. These components has been unit tested. Each component is tested separately, which was unit tested, and now it is being integrated, and while integration another kind of testing is being considered, that it is integration testing, whether these components after integrating they are not generating new kind of faults or new kind of errors. Okay, after integration the whole system is ready and this system is tested, and then whether it is performing according to the requirements or not, and after that there is acceptance testing, whether it is working according to the requirement and the customer is satisfied or not. So this is something about V model. Here you have to understand that V model is similar to the classic life cycle model. We have understood it was a waterfall model. Here just we are showing that the testing is being done and how these testings relate to the phases of life cycle model. So one thing that we have to understand that yes, sequential flow is something which can be used only for a small projects, right? If at all it is a little complexity in that, then we will go for certain other kind of thing which can be incremental model or other kind of things. We will go through them. Okay. So moreover, I will say that you should go through the book. All these things that we are studying here, it is from the software engineering book written by Roger S. Pressman. Go through that book. All the images taken here are from that book only. So go through that book and read it. It will be very helpful. And next we will try to understand about incremental process model. Okay. So thank you.